Hi, this is Brian with World Music Supply. I'm here today to show you the Bugera 333 XL. Now this is a all-tube amp. It's 120 watts and it sports two 12-inch Bugera heavy-duty speakers. Now it also has the classic 3-channel preamp design with your clean, your crunch, and your lead. Now those tubes that we're using here are 6L6 valves. Now this also can be exchanged for the EL34s. Those are all both swappable there. Now, as we can go ahead and check out the sound that we can get out of this Bugera, it's going to be a nice warm sound. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate the clean channel here. As we can see, we have our mid, our treble, and our bass. But first, we're just going to leave them where they're at and give you a little example. So that's just a little small example of just the clean all by itself. And of course, we can get a separate sound into here by changing our tones here on the bass, treble, and the mid. And as we move on, we can see that we got our crunch and our lead channels. Now both of these are where the XL comes into factor here. Now we have the XL buttons both here and here for the independent channel of the crunch and the lead. Now it's going to give us a little bit more bottom end and overall presence of the sound that we get through the amp. Now I'll go ahead and give you a little example of our crunch here. We just move to the crunch sound. And as we can see, we also have the independent channels here, the bass, the mid, and the treble. And that's what's nice about the Bugera 333 XL is it actually has 3 independent equalizers for each channel, for your clean, your crunch, and your lead. Now, as we can see here, we can go ahead and change our gain, though. We have the extra knob for our gain on crunch and the lead. So we can go ahead and give it a little bit more dirt if we want. Or we can give it a little less, and we can actually kick down the bass a little, kick our treble up and our mid down a little. And now we can go ahead and move on to our lead channel, and it also does support the bass, mid, and the treble, as well as a volume and a gain knob, so you can get a very versatile amount of sounds out of each one of those preamps, your clean, your crunch, and your lead. So we'll go ahead and give you a little bit of the lead. Now we can kick it up with a little bit more treble and give it a little bit more gain as well. Go ahead and add a little volume here. With our crunch and our lead channels, we have a noise gate knob here. Now what that is going to allow us to do is take a little bit of the extra noise that comes through all tube amps. What I want to go ahead and show you here is also that you don't lose any tone with this noise gate. So go ahead and give you some chord here. So that's me going back and forth between there while holding that chord, and we don't lose any tone. So it's a really nice feature. Now as we move on here, we're going to go ahead and go back to our clean channel and show you some of the master settings. And we have our master volume, our presence knob, and our reverb. Now the reverb is not set to its own dedicated channel, so we can actually click this on here, and that gives us our actual reverb, and we can now use the knob to go from 0 to a 10, and that gives us anywhere, it's a pretty huge range on the Bugera, and I'll actually go from a pretty dry sound to a really, really wet sound using the reverb. So we'll give you an example on the clean channel, just with a little reverb. And then we can add a little bit more reverb and go ahead and go to this mid section. And go ahead and add us a little bit more. Now this is where it starts getting real wet, anywhere between 5 and 10. So it's got a really nice sound, especially when you get in between the 5 and the 10 on the reverb knob. Now we can go ahead and show you just a little bit of the presence. What I'm going to do is go ahead and just hold a chord here and let you hear it. It's a very subtle change, but it gives you a little bit more tone. It increases the overall settings that you have on your individual channel, whichever you happen to be on, your clean, your crunch, or your lead. It's going to enhance what settings you have made with those knobs. So we're going to head and start it out where it's at with a 0. Move it up a little. We can move it all the way up here. Kick it back down all the way. Now we can go ahead and move on to our FX/boost. What this is going to do is this switch right here can actually use just for the FX loop. If you're happening to use a pedal as I am, an FX loop plugs into the back. We can use this button as just a boost if we don't have any FX pedal. If we're just running dry without any effects or any FX loop at all, we could just use it as a boost. So I'll give you an example of both. First, without the chorus pedal. So see, as you can see, we're here. We'll play. Kick in our boost. And then we can kick it back down. And now we're running back on our clean channel with no effect. Now, what we can also do is we can go ahead and throw this and use this as our FX loop here with the Chorus Ensemble CE5. We also have here at World Music Supply. Now we'll go ahead and click this on and kick our FX loop on, our FX boost, and now we're going to have our chorus. Well, the Bugera 333 XL also has the line out on the back and a separate level control, which you can use for recording purposes. You can use it for studio purposes, and it's got the heavy-duty foot switch that comes with it that also shows the clean, the crunch, the lead, and the FX loop. Now, the clean has a color coding to it, and so do all the other channels, but the clean was a green, our crunch has a yellow, our lead has a red, and our FX loop shows the green. Now we can also use these other channels with our FX loop without having to turn that one off. Also like to show you the standby switch, which is another nice feature of the Bugera 333 XL. Now we can just switch the standby off, and as you can see, we have no sound projecting from the guitar through the amp, but we still have power to the tubes and to our settings. So we can go ahead and click that back on, and in just a matter of seconds, we still have the same warm sound that we had before. So that's about it. The 333 XL and other Bugera amps are available at worldmusicsupply.com.